Hey everybody, Prepper Nurse 1 here, and I'm going to be drinking heavy today, Diet Coke, just so you know. I wanted to do a video excuse me, on books. Now, to me, I love to read, always have. It's a big passion of mine, but in a worst case scenario, whatever knowledge you have, okay? And, you know, if you have books already available to you to use, it's a good thing to, you know, to have so that you can study them, because in a worst case scenario, now you have all the time in the world where we all, because of our busy lives and working and whatnot, we don't have the time. Well, in a worst case scenario, now you just you have the time. So I wanted to share with you a couple of books that you know, have really influenced me. One of the first one I'm going to show you. I had shown this to everybody at the prepper meeting that we had, and this is Camping and Wilderness Survival by Paul Tarwell. Okay, I'll show you that there real quick. This guy has, in this book, he shows you, you know, in each climate of the different, you know, across the world, that, you know, for cold weather, warm weather, you know, how to make a fire, camping, what's edible plants, you know, all kinds of stuff. It's just, you know, where to look for water. It's incredible the amount of knowledge that is in this one book. If I did not have any other book, this is the one that I would take. This one here. I mean, and I'm, you know, not hawking him because of I've been endorsed to it all. I just think that this is a really, really good book to have. When I went to, I got it at Barnes and Nobles. It was the last one they had. So just look it up. If you like it, grab it. It's a really, really good book. It's really informative. A lot of really good information in there. Another book that I read, and this is one of the ones that is the main reason why I decided to have my place where I have it, to be able to have that as my home base, to live at my retreat, was this guy here. It says Survive the Underworld as We Know It. Again, a lot of good information on how to deal with a lot of things in a worst case scenario. And one of the things that he says in this book that he says is the most important to him is being able to be at your retreat. Okay, so it's James Wesley Rawls. It's you know, it shows you tactics, everything that you need to know. It's really interesting. Something that you can check out. Okay. Another book here, Outdoor Survival Skills. Obviously, that would be really important in a worst case scenario. Once again, you know, just a lot of information on how to do a lot of different things. So it's you know, obviously, it speaks for itself for what it is. So it's Outdoor Survival Skills. I really like that book. Another one for complete wilderness training. So it's you know, it just gives you a lot of information. Again, a lot of pictures. Tells you how to do things, and, you know, what works and what doesn't work. Just a real informative, you know, a lot of knowledge in those books. Now this one here is one that I just recently picked up, and this is Self-Sufficient for the 21st Century. And again, this is more along the lines of, you know, homesteading. It's got beekeeping, working with large areas, gardening. You know, it's just giving an idea here, you know, the different things that it has in here. But these are really interesting to me. It is, because it's like obviously wanting to be off grid. You know, it's like even setting up a workshop. Okay, you know, everything from canning, build a raised bed. You know, it's just a lot of really good information that you have available to you. Okay, you know, another one that's just a regular magazine that comes is Mother Earth News there, and that always has a lot of good stuff in there as well. Another one that I had, the Renewable Energy Handbook. It's all about solar and you know, how to set it all up and what you got to do, and it's got a lot of really interesting information for solar and wind turbines. I found it really useful and very helpful with my first property that I had. This one here is, how to build a log cabin for $3,000, and it's just, how these people did it, and stuff like that. So if you wanted to, build a log cabin, it just gives you all that information. Another one here, the complete guide to a complete idiot's guide to solar power for your home. So it's another, on solar power again. So this one here is just a magazine on working with foundations, working with concrete, how to make foundations, and set up footers, and all kinds of really interesting stuff in there. If you've never worked with concrete, which I really haven't done a lot of concrete work, it's very interesting. Okay, now this is another one here. This is back to the basics. Okay, this is all about living green, being off grid, doing your own thing with canning and aquaponics. It has in here, the gardening again, the kitchen garden, passive solar heating. I mean, it's just a really informative book. They have those at, again, any Barnes and Nobles or anything like that. And then this one is all on homesteading. Okay, growing your own vegetables, conserve water with rain barrels, making paper, container gardening, building a stable, harness the wind and solar and hydro, keeping chickens, brewing beer even. So, it's really another interesting thing. And for me, like I said, I always think of, in a worst case scenario, now you have all kinds of downtime. You're down to basic survival at that point. And what would I want to do with my time, other than just trying to survive? Well, I'd like to have a guide that would help me so that I can glean the knowledge from that, and that's what the books are all about to me. And I just, anything that's going to give me the edge. Again, being in the Northeast, I mean, today it's 10 degrees out. This morning when I came home, it was 0 at work, and it was -2 when I got home. And then we had the wind chill on top of that, so it was like 20 below 0 with the wind chill. So, in a worst case scenario, your priorities are keeping warm and having food and stuff like that. And, a lot of people would perish because of, insufficient food, cold weather. We are not, as Americans in general and whole, are not prepared for anything. They live in apartments and in their houses, and they have no wood stove, and they don't have anything to be able to be self-sufficient. So, to me, it's important to, any kind of thing that I can do to help myself, to prepare for whatever. And like I said, and I will use these books just even going onto my property. And, so it's not like I'm waiting for the end of the world to happen to utilize these books. I'm going to use them to help me to get the knowledge that I need to have, to do what I want to do up at my property. Hello, come on over, have a seat. My son Eddie. Nicely. Can you say hello?
Hello.
Okay. All right. Why don't you go on your computer? Give me a smooch. Smooch. Okay, I love you. Go. But like I said, again, it's just a matter of having the knowledge to use it and put it into practical practice is good. And I want to obviously use it before an end of the world situation, because I want to get the kinks and the bugs out before it's necessary to do it to survive. If I got it down before a worst case scenario is really not going to have a tremendous amount of effect on me personally or the people in my group. It's important. I think, like I said, knowledge is power. I mean, if you have the knowledge to help yourself and to help your group, to live, to thrive, not just survive. There's surviving, there's thriving, and I want to thrive. You're figuring. I mean, if you look at it realistically, in a worst case scenario, the first year is going to really weed down who's going to make it and who's not. Okay, it's, as a nurse, I look at who's going to go first. And obviously, you're talking all your compromised people. You're talking your elderly with a lot of disabilities, disabled people. If they don't have the different things that they need, like ventilators and the dialysis, the people that are on dialysis, if those things aren't there, those people are not going to survive very long. It's sad, but it's true. you know, you're mentally retarded when you don't have people to take care of them, and I'm talking to profoundly mentally retarded. Um, you know, if you don't have the people to take care of those type of people, they're not going to live very long. It's sad, but it's true. So it's survival of the fittest is what it comes down to. A mechanical injury can kill you. You twist an ankle or whatever, and you're knocked out of commission. And if you don't have people to help you in your group, you're in deep trouble. So again, like I said, getting back to the books, having books I think is very important. The knowledge that you can get to have, I mean, in the worst case scenario, you're not going to be obviously using the internet because it won't be there anymore. So it's all about books, and having them ahead of time is obviously very important so that you can, utilize that knowledge. Like I said, I plan on putting a lot of it into practical use at my property, and getting out in the wild and knowing what edible plants are going to work. And if I have, this book, and I say I'm out in the wilderness, and I say, okay, what plant can I eat? And I look and say, okay, it says in the book that I can eat this plant, and it's going to be okay. That could save my life. It's better than eating the wrong plant and dying. So, like I said, real good information. I love, like I said again, I love reading. It's very important. But to have that knowledge, and again, I plan on this year. I was talking to one of the guys in my group, and we're going to be doing some canning this year. I haven't done canning since I was a kid. I think, like I said, anytime we can hone our skills before worst case scenario, that's the way to do it. So practicing, putting things into practical practice now, as opposed to waiting until a worst case scenario. Now you're learning on the fly. Um, Scary. I mean, if you make a mistake, then it could cost you your life. So I would rather know how to do these things now, and when a worst case situation happens, then I'm prepared and I'm ready. Okay. So thank you for listening. I hope it's informative. Any questions you have on the books, if you want the title and the author or anything like that, let me know, and I'll give you that information. It's like I said, it's just, I think it's really, really important. So I wanted to share that with you. I hope if you find this, informative, let me know what you think. Okay. Thank you very much for listening, and I appreciate it. Prepper Nurse 1 out for now.